Hello SLR Lounge, my name is Joseph Cha, and today we're going to be reviewing the Zeiss Otus 55mm f1.4, or as my good friend Christophe says, the Zeiss Otus.
Zeiss introduced the first Otus lens.
The 50mm lens market has been saturated for some time now. Every major lens manufacturer has at least one variation of the 50mm prime. But every now and then, a new lens comes out that completely raises the bar on what's possible. For the 50mm game, that lens is the Otus 55. Let's jump right into the performance and quality of this lens. Now, right off the bat, if I could give this lens 6 out of 5 stars, I would, because it is such an exceptional performer. I shot this photo at the beach, and look just how sharp my subject and the water around him is. This is actually a 1080 crop of the corner frame of this image. This image is also impressively sharp. I can see the water clearly and can even count the individual birds on top of the small island. But this picture is also a corner frame of this full-size image. When Zeiss introduced this lens 2 years ago, they said that this lens was meant for high-resolution, high-megapixel DSLR cameras. At the time, the D800 was the highest full-frame megapixel camera out at 36 megapixels, but this year, Canon released the 5DS and the 5DSR, which has 50.6 megapixels, so we wanted to see just how much more detail this lens could resolve over the Canon 50mm and the Sigma 50mm art lens. I took the same photo with all three lenses. On the corner of this frame, when I zoom into it, you can see the Canon really struggling to produce a clear image with the tree. The Sigma fares much better than the Canon in this test, but it's still a little blurry. The Otus, however, does the best, blowing the Canon away and having significantly more sharpness and contrast than the Sigma. Although with that being said, the Sigma is very impressive in this test. Now let's take a look at chromatic aberration. Take a look at where the shadow on the bottom of this concrete structure meets the sky. With the Canon, there's a very clear purple glow in between the shadow and the sky, and the concrete is very soft. The Sigma has significantly less chromatic aberration than the Canon, but it's still there and the concrete is still soft. With the Otus, the chromatic aberration is nearly non-existent and the concrete is sharp. Every high-key or backlit photo I've shot with this lens has been absolutely spectacular. I can shoot wide open without having to worry about sacrificing quality to chromatic aberration or loss in sharpness. Now let's talk about features. Besides having some of the best glass in the world, there are some other notable features that this lens has. It has a focus throw of 248 degrees, which is over 2/3 of a full rotation, which is great for manual focus photographers and ambitious videographers who want to use this lens. And that's pretty much it for features. This lens, like all Zeiss lenses made for Canon and Nikon, doesn't have autofocus, and that will make it unusable for most photographers. For that reason, we had to ding it 1 star, so this lens gets 4 out of 5 stars in features. So moving on, let's go into design. Now, this might get kind of weird, so just bear with me. This lens is an exquisite all-metal construction. Even the lens hood is metal. It has bold yellow markings, just like the Zeiss Master anamorphic prime lenses. And this lens also has beautiful curves that just fit right in the palm of your hand. All joking aside, this is one of the most beautiful lenses I've ever shot with, and the outside cosmetic aesthetic really matches the image quality it's able to produce. So for that, this lens gets 5 out of 5 stars. So let's move on to value. For value, this lens gets 3 out of 5 stars. Now 3 out of 5 stars isn't bad, it just means that you're getting exactly what you pay for. And for a $4,000 lens, to be able to produce $4,000 worth of image quality is quite an impressive feat. Richard from Zeiss says, "The cost of the lens is determined by the type of materials and the amount of labor which goes into making each lens. The Otus 1.455 uses 6 elements with anomalous partial dispersion and a double-sided aspheric. The production time is considerably longer and more measurement steps are taken to ensure the lens meets the specs. The lens is also the result of an extensive 3-year development process involving many Zeiss scientists and engineers. Taken together, the lens is more expensive to make and results in the higher selling price." This Otus series of lenses is by far the best series I have ever shot with. And if you're a high megapixel commercial shooter, then you should definitely look into buying or renting this lens for your next shoot. The next lens I will be reviewing is a Zeiss 85 1.4, the Otus also. And Zeiss, if you're watching this, send us a 28 Otus and we'll review that also. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Give us a comment or a thumbs up if you really liked it, and subscribe for more videos like this. My name is Joseph Cha, and I will see you in the next video. Hello SLR Lounge, we're here at the Zeiss booth, and we are here with the Otus 28mm f1.4. The only question I have is, what is the 28mm used for? It's such an interesting focal length. But it turns out you can actually shoot a lot with the 28mm, especially if you're shooting with the Otus. We took some test shots with this lens, and you see all of the pictures that you see here were taken with the Zeiss 28mm 1.4. Ah, it's so good. Images are amazing. I feel like I'm actually there. So Zeiss, at their booth, they've also provided us this beautiful model. 28mm isn't usually a typical portrait lens, but we'll see what we can get with this one. All right, and then a little more towards me now. Perfect. That looks great. That's great, I love that. Oh man, you know, I was just joking that this wasn't a good portrait lens, but this actually came out really well.